Alright, Part 387, Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. Code of Federal Regulations. Subpart D. Surety bonds, policies, insurance of freight forwarders. 387401 definitions. Alright, your freight forwarder means a person holding the general public other than an express pipeline, rail, sleeping car, motor, water carrier to provide transportation property with the compensation and interstate commerce in the order of the course of its business performs, provided the assembling, consolidation, breakup, the distribution, and shipment, assuming the responsibility for the transportation, play for the receipt of the destination, use any of the part of the transportation carrier subject to the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration jurisdiction. Household good freight forwarder means the freight forwarder of the household goods unaccompanied with the baggage used in automobiles, motor vehicles, means of the vehicle with a machine, tractor, trailer, semi-trailer propelled and steam or drawn by a mechanical power used to transport the property do not include the vehicle, locomotive, the cars operated exclusive of the rails or by rail or rails, following combination with will be regarded with the motor vehicle, a tractor with it drove the trailer with a semi-trailer, tractor, trailer bearing single loaded. Alright, 387403 general requirements cargo. The household goods of the freight forward must operate only until the file with the Federal Motor Carrier Administration appropriate surety bond certificate and with the insurance qualification itself as a self-insurer for the security agreements in the amount with the prescribed 387505 for the purpose of the damage to the household goods. Public liability. Freight forward may not perform transfer, collection, delivery services is filed within the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration appropriate surety bond certificate, insurance qualification, self-insurers of the security agreements for the amount with the prescribed 387405 continued to pay any of the final judgment recovered than any against the such freight forward over the bodily injury, death of any of the person, loss of the damaged property except cargo otherwise indicates the freight of the vehicle is described in 387303B2 for environmental restoration resulting in negligent operation maintenance if the motor vehicle is operated under its control of the performing as such a service. Surety bond or trust fund. A freight forward must have a surety bond or trust fund in effect. Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration will not issue the freight forward license using until the surety bond or trust fund for the full limited liability prescribed in 387405 is in effect. The freight forward license shall be remain invalid and effective only as long as the surety bond and trust fund remains in effect with the ensure the financial responsibility of the freight forwarder. The requirements of applicability, property, broker, surety, bonds, and trust funds 387307 shall be applied to the surety bond and trust funds required in the paragraph. 387403T, general requirements cargo, household good freights must may not operate until the file with the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration appropriate surety bond certificate, insurance qualifications, self-insurance, or other securities agreements, and the amounts of prescribed in 387405 for the loss of the damage of the household goods. B. Public liability. The HHGFF may not be perform transfer, collection, or the delivery of the service until the file with the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration and the appropriate surety bound with the self-insurance qualifications, self-insurers, other securities agreements, of the amounts prescribed in 387405, condition to meet the payment of the final judgment recovered against the HHGFF for bodily injury, 2, of the death of any of the person, loss of the damage of property except the cargo, otherwise in case the freight vehicle is described in 387303TB2 for environmental restoration resulting in negligent operation, maintenance, use of the motor vehicle operated without under its control, performing its service. Alright, surety bond and trust fund. The freight forwarder must have the surety bond and trust fund in effect with the Federal Motor Carrier Safety do not issue the freight forwarder license using surety bond and trust fund full limited liability prescribed in 387405 in effect. Freight forwarder license shall remain valid and effective only as long as the surety bond and trust fund remains in effect and shall in financial responsibility. If the freight forwarder requirement applicably property broker bonds trust fund 387307, this shall apply with the surety bond and trust fund required in paragraph C. 387405 limits the liability minimum amounts of cargo and public liability security are identical to those prescribed in motor carriers in Title 49 CFR 387303. Minimum amount of surety bond and trust fund is identical to that prescribed for the brokers 493.87307. 387407, the surety bond certificate, limits of liability under 387405, provided the aggregated under procedure Title 49 CFR 387 subpart C. Each of the policy, insurance, and connection certificate, insurance filed with the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, amendment attached, appropriate endorsement prescribed in the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration of the Department of Transportation where applicable. Forms 387409, insurance surety company certificate. Insurance surety company will not be accepted by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration unless it's issued an insurance surety company that is authorized, licensed, submitted to issue bonds underlying insurance policies. And each state with the freight with the forwarder authorized the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration perform state, and the state in which the freight forwarder principal ace of the business do domicile with the designated writing upon request Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration person whom process issued under the authority of the court competent jurisdiction may be served with the proceeding of the law within the brought into the state in which the freight forward performs services, and any state of the eligible excess and surplus insures any state in which the business is written, but it will make the designation process agent prescribed in paragraph B of the section D. The province for the territory of the Canada, the Canadian freight forward, the principal place of the business domicile with the designated with the written upon request. Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration pursuant and process issued under the authority of the court competent jurisdiction to not be served in proceeding law equity brought within the state in which the freight forwarder operates. Or 387411, the qualifications, self-insured, other security agreements. Self-insured Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration provides the application of the freight forwarder qualifies self-insurance able to meet the obligation of bodily injury, property damage, cargo liability without adversely affecting this business. Other security agreements, Federal Motor Carrier Safety will grant application and approval of the other security agreement if the publicly is protected with the contemplated with the Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 13906. All right, 387413 conforms to procedure that forms endorsement policy of the insurance surety bond certificate insurance application qualifies self-insurance approval of the other security agreements and the notice of the cancellation must be informed of the prescribed in Title 49 Part 387 subpart C. Procedure certificate insurance surety bonds notice of the cancellation must electronically find Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. Name certificate insurance surety bonds shall be issued with the full name including any trade name of the individual partnership to all partners, name corporation, other person holding an issue to the permit. Cancellation accepted provided in paragraph E of the section certificate insurance surety bond. The security agreements will not be canceled withdrawn 30 days after Federal Motor Carrier Administration will receive the notice for the insurance company of the surety freight forwarder or other party is in the case. This case may be termination by replacement certificate insurance of the surety bonds may be replaced by other certificate and surety bonds, other security liability retiring insured with surety that consider that having terminated replacement effective date and acceptable to Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. Termination form BMC 32. B34 with the freight forward property other than household goods, 32 endorsement and 34 certificate insurance issued the freight forward property other than household goods have been accepted by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration under the rules expires on March 21st, 2011. All right, 387413 forms and procedure forms, endorsement policy, insurance, surety, bond certificate, insurance application, qualifiers, surety itself, insured with approval. The other security agreements, notice of cancellation must meet the form prescribed in subpart C of this part procedure, certificate, insurance, surety, bonds, notice of the cancellation must be filed with the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration triplicate. Name, certificate, insurance, surety, bonds shall be issued the full name, including any trade name of the individual partnership, all person and partners, name, corporation, other person holding and issued to the permanent cancellation, except for providing paragraph E of the section certificate insurance surety bound by the other security agreement, but it cannot be canceled withdrawn within 30 days of the Federal Motor Carrier Safety receives notice of the insurance company, freight forwarder, or other party as the case may be. Termination by replacement certificate insurance surety bond may be replaced with the other certificate insurance surety bonds of the security liability retiring insurance security or surety shall be considered to have terminated with the other replacement effective date that is applicable to the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. Termination forms BMC 32 and 34 with the freight forward property other than the household goods. BMC 32 endorsement 34 certificate insurance issue with the freight forward property other than the household goods have been accepted to the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration under these rules expired March 21st, 2011. 387415 accepting the revocation of Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration may at any time accept that they revoke the acceptance of any surety bond and certificate insurance qualification, self-insurance, or other security agreement that does not comply with these rules and fails to provide adequate public protection. Or 387417 fiduciary's interpretation intent insured with the principal to you the certificate and insurance surety bound with notice of the cancellation filed on and freight forward include freight forward fiduciary as defined in Title 49 387319A with the moment of succession span security coverage for the coverage furnished for the fiduciary shall not apply with the effective date of the other insurance security filed with the accepted Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration except the fiduciary after the coverage shall have been in effect for 30 days. It may be canceled or withdrawn within the succeeding 30 days and insure the insured surety with the principal of 10 days after the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration received the written notice that says the coverage been in effect 60 days and it may be canceled or withdrawn only in accordance with 387413D. Or 387419 electronic filing surety bond certificate insurance cancellation insured with the must electronically filed certificate insurance surety bonds of the other security agreements notice for the cancellation according with the agreement requirements and procedures set forth in 3873. 387419T with electronic filing surety bonds certificates insurance cancellation sure that may an option in accordance with the requirements and procedures set forth 3872 file certificate insurance surety bonds other security and agreements electronically. Alright, and that was part D of Part 387, the minimum level of financial responsibility for motor carriers.